Well, back with first trades right here on ET now. And US President Donald Trump says any country doing business with Iran will face a 25% US tariff on all trade effective immediately. Now, the move aims to economically isolate Tehran amid ongoing anti-government protests and rising tensions. Snehi is here to tell us how this is going to be impacting India. Snehi?
Well, yes. So Trump has announced a fresh 25% tariff on all countries that are major trading partners of Iran. So there is ambiguity here in terms of what comes under the category of major trading partner. But nonetheless, let's understand what the India-Iran trade relations have been as per most recent data that we have from the Ministry of Commerce for 2024-2025. India's exports to Iran were about $1.24 billion. India's imports from Iran were about just $0.44 billion, taking a total bilateral trade with Iran in that year to $1.68 billion, which is surprisingly a degrowth of about 9% on a year-on-year basis. But if you take a look at what India-Iran bilateral trade trends have been ever since 2018-2019, that year we did trade with Iran worth $17 billion, which has now very sharply fallen all the way down to just $1.68 billion. So India's trade with Iran is anyway on the declining trend. Just to understand this better, major Indian exports to Iran include categories like basmati rice, tea, sugar, fresh fruits, and drugs and pharmaceuticals. And major imports from Iran for India include categories like apples, pistachios, dates, and kiwis. But the main question here is, what about oil? Now, you'll be surprised to know that Iran's share in India's total oil imports this year is only 0.04%. It's very minuscule. It's almost as good as nothing. And this is all the way lower from about 12% in FY 2007. So ever since India started buying Russian oil, Saudi Arabia and Iran have both seen a cut in how much oil India imports from both of them respectively. So now, to understand what Trump's tariff impact is going to be on India, if you put into context all of these numbers, the bilateral trade and the oil import, absolutely minimal on India. This should have absolutely no impact. This tariff is in fact aimed at China because China is Iran's biggest oil buyer. China's share in Iran's oil imports is about 89%, so that's quite chunky. Now, the other aspect where Iran plays out for India is the Chabahar port. But remember, the US has granted India a 6-month exemption from sanctions on Iran's Chabahar port that was effective from October 29 last year. So we are still in that period. So again, once again, this should not have any major impact on India. So yes, the impact of this 25% tariff that Trump has announced for Iran's trading partners should be minimal at best for India.